Alright, where are we? Maps. Right, you know what? If I think about it, and as long as this isn't shit, I might make this into a YouTube video. If I think about it. I might not, though. It depends. Ow. And I've also just massively elbowed that, which really hurts. Right. Abbey. Yeah. Fairly situational map. I don't mind it, but I don't like... I don't like the like how corridory it is. It's quite meh. Have I done? Yeah, I have done OBS, right? So yeah, Abbey's kind of like meh, very meh. Berlin, I don't even remember. Like whatever. Cliff's not bad. I quite like Cliff. There's a lot of in randoms. There's quite a lot of like I like taking the donut. I like you've got the hill. You've got round the back of the hill. You've got the middle, obviously. You've got the 1-2 if you fancy a camp off. It's a fairly decent map. Empire's Border. I gave it quite a lot of flack when it first came out. Really didn't like it. It's actually warming on me slightly now. It's not too bad. There are definitely worse maps in the game. I don't mind it. Ensk, highly dependent on what you're playing. But I don't mind Ensk. As a map, I don't mind it at all. It's just, like I say, it depends what you're playing. Fisherman's Bay, again, used to absolutely hate it. It's now actually growing on me quite a lot. I actually quite like Fisherman's Bay now. Fjords, I don't particularly like. The heavy engagement is very... Just, you know, who's got more HE. Or who's got ridiculous pen to the point that it doesn't matter. The north is really tricky to get to because as soon as the one team takes the middle, the other team takes north, basically just makes a whole area unplayable. So then you're forced to be heavies or camps, so I don't really like that. Highways, not too bad. I don't mind highways. Pretty decent for light tanks. Very good light tanks. Spotting map from the north you can get in the bush that's about here somewhere. It's absolutely lovely. Yeah, usual thing that happens on highway though is the north team takes the town, wins the town. South team takes this, wins this. South team pushes across, north team pushes back, and then you have a fight back there. Himmels, love Himmels. Can't go wrong with Himmels. Obviously, if you're playing arty or you're playing a light tank, meh. But all in all, even in a light tank, you can still have good games on Himmels. It's not the end of the world. Corellia. I'm very, very meh about Corellia. Wow, this is like old Corellia. The whole of the north still blocked off. Corellia, if there's no arty, it's pretty fun. Like in a heavy, if there's no arty, you can play this out a bit, like down here, and that's really fun. If there is arty, you're forced not to play this, and then the heavy flank just becomes very much a stalemate. If you take the hill, you're reliant on everyone else on your team doing spotting. The north's quite a fun fight, but it's just getting there without losing all of your health to any light tanks that take the middle, really. Lakeville, I quite like Lakeville. The valley is growing on me more and more, but obviously, again, it's kind of like an arty issue. Night, Lucy. It's kind of like an arty issue. The middle's quite fun, like for tank destroyers, you can shoot across. It's not as good as it used to be because they've created these dips at the back, but it's better for every other tank because it means you're not getting completely annihilated by all of the tank destroyers camping here. It also forces more tank destroyers. Like, you don't get like 5 or 6 tank destroyers camping here and here anymore. You actually get more that come either back here or push into the town, something like that. Live Oaks, I quite like Live Oaks. Live Oaks has got stuff for everything. Tank destroyers, decent light tanks, mediums and faster heavies and other heavies down here. Obviously got a town as well. So yeah, I like Live Oaks. Good map. Malovka, love Malovka. It's a bit harsh if you're in a heavy tank and there's 3 arty, but you can still go take the hill and just, you know, hope they shoot someone else, to be honest. But other than that, all in all, Malovka's a pretty good map. Quite like it. Mines, like I said, I don't think it should be at tier 10 or tier 9 or tier 8, really. Maybe tier 8 maximum. I don't mind mines. Like, personally, I don't mind mines, but I do see why people have an issue with mines. I really, really do. North team, as soon as they take the hill, as the South team, you can't really do anything at all. So yeah, Minsk, don't like it. Really, really, really do not like it. It's very much heavy fight. Lights, it's a really poor light map. You just play the mid and just go round and round and round. You can't really do a lot on it. Like, because literally, if you're in a lightly armored tank, it's literally like, right, I have nowhere to go. I have nothing to do. So I'm not a huge fan of Minsk at all. Mountain Pass. I just played Mountain Pass, obviously. I don't mind Mountain Pass. It's a bit too corridory for my liking, but there are ways around it. Like I say, from the south, you just play all the way through here. You push all the way through until you've won this part of the map. Then basically, if they've got RT or if they've got usually tank destroyers here, like, and a couple of bits back here, you then just back off, come into the dip, go like that. If you play north, you can try and do the same, but win all the way through. So the north, I would say, if it's a 50-50 fight, and the north wins, it's easier to then progress the map from this side. If the south does, then once you've won this side, you have to go back and go somewhere else because you can't push around this corner with RT and people camping. Muro, quite like Muro. Magical Mystical Forest is quite good fun. This side is probably more fun than it used to be because you've got this wide out, like the one line now, whereas it used to be, I don't know if any of you remember a time when this map was a lot smaller and it was literally, this fight was that and then it was the map border, which was interesting. But yeah, Muro is quite fun. I do like Muro. The middle is underrated, like playing in the middle is underrated, but I quite like the fact that Muro quite often turns into, instead of a north-south fight, it turns into an east-west fight, which is it's quite nice. Overlord, take the beach off, add an extra 200 meters of map this side. Lovely map. The beach, fucking awful. You just know that whenever you load into this thing, half your team goes onto the beach and then you've just lost. But like I say, if you lobbed the beach off, made it non-playable terrain and added 200 meters on this side, I think Overlord would actually be quite a decent map. I would actually quite like Overlord. Paris, love it in some tanks, absolutely hate it in others. Like if you're playing anything lightly armoured, Paris is like your worst nightmare to see because you have to camp quite a lot. You can try and play middle, but then it's very dependent on who wins this area down here in the heavies. And I don't like that, those kind of maps. Like you're gonna see that when it comes to Studyanki. What I'll have to say on that, I don't like it when you can completely shoot across from one flank to another. Pearl River, somehow they've made it a hell of a lot worse since it's been added back in. I don't quite know how they've done it, but they have. It's not an awful map. I quite like the heavy sides. I like playing the mid. This side, I haven't really played the south at all since it's been re-added back in. So to be fair, I don't really know what positions work and what positions don't. I think the encounter game mode, I said this in a game a couple of minutes ago, I think the encounter game mode is just a massive disaster. I think it is honestly an awful, just, if you take this side of the map and someone sits in the cap and encounter and they have two TDs like behind them and a little bit of support here, you lose to cap because you can't shoot the cap from the mid. I think it's something that needs to happen. It needs a couple of tweaks and then I think it could be a quite good map. Pilsen, position I found the other day that works apparently is if you come into here, go behind this building, you can actually shoot through the building at some guys sitting here. I still wouldn't say it's a good map though. Like I've discovered that playing the middle is a bit more fun, like positions here, here, and here. But all in all, no, I don't really like Pilsen. Obviously, this is old Pilsen as well. I don't actually remember this that much. Oh, actually, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I was thinking, I don't actually remember it, but yes, I do now. But yeah, Pilsen, not great, but what you can do. Prohorovka, love it. Great map. Obviously, sometimes you have 1-2 campers, which is always an issue, but there are other things you can do. Hill, in my opinion, maybe needs to be moved to be central on the map, and maybe this position right at the back could be changed and this position right at the back could be changed, but it's little things on proc. I do like proc no matter what I'm playing in. Province is quite a fun low tier map, to be honest. Berlin is a map you skipped. Is it? Wait, that was like old Berlin though, wasn't it? Okay, fine. We'll go back and do it. Where is it? I lost it now. Well, if you say the Berlin that I know you're playing, like the pillbox is good fun in the middle. But I don't like the fact that, again, it's another kind of map that sometimes you get shot from completely unexpected sides because you didn't realise that someone had a ridiculous shot right the way through the middle of the map. That's Berlin. Province, yeah, fun, low tier map, but I don't really know what more to say about it. It's quite fun at low tier. Obviously, it's not a high tier map. It doesn't really matter that much. Redshire, good map. Quite like it. Play this side, play this side. The only thing I would say that needs to be changed on it, there's a bit of an imbalance where the southern team, if they get a light tank that comes into here, spots all the heavies crossing, south team has TDs here, you lose the heavy fight basically straight away. But then in saying that, if you're the north side and you just go, right, we're not actually going to push heavies through here, we're going to sit here and here and here, you basically can't push through with heavies from the southern side. So, yeah. But all in all, I think Redshire's quite a good map. Rurenburg, better than it was. Obviously, the G1 position used to be completely overpowered. Is now slightly better. I find the biggest issue for me on Rurenburg is Arty, quite honestly. I just always seem to... Because I think in my head it's a city map. So I go, Arty's not a problem. And then I seem to find that I constantly get shot at by Arty. I think the field could be changed slightly, especially given the fact that like there's so much open ground on this side, and if you get TD sitting at the back, you have to cross so much open ground to get to them. The middle, I think, is a disaster, the fact they've opened up these windows, and we still don't know why they've built this street at an angle. It should be straight down the middle of the map. But anyway, Serene Coast is quite a fun map. I actually quite like Serene Coast. Obviously, C1 fight is quite interesting. Well, not interesting, but it's usually a good fight. You've then got tank destroyer positions that are behind it that can shoot if you make mistakes, but aren't completely overpowered. That's something I quite like on Serene Coast, is that if you're fighting the C1 fight and then you win it, you can get like out without, or you can push through without being exposed to tank destroyers for like 300 meters of drive. You just dip to the right, or the right on this side, depending on which way you come from. And then you can play into this lower ground. This side of the map, don't particularly like it too much, because it's too much like just for me. And this side is prime example of what I was saying, of especially if you're the north team trying to go to the south, trying to cross 300 meters of open ground whilst you've got TD shooting at you. It's not fun. Siegfried Line, yeah, I quite like Siegfried Line. Field's decent, like... It is actually, you have to have a good light tank who's not going to get shot at, whether you play passive or active. The town's quite decent. Obviously, you've got more, if you want to make more aggressive plays, you play here. If you want to play more of a heavy fight, you play in the middle, and you can get some flanking going on down the middle in like the 5 line. Steps is falling out of favour with me a bit more at the minute, because a lot of teams from the south side seem to completely abandon the east and just set up camps back here. So then if you push through from the east, you kind of get to here, and then you like, You can sometimes push under like here and get shots in, but it depends if your team's pushed through and can stop guys from peeking you. But Steps isn't too bad. I just don't like how far back you can camp pretty much on both sides. Like, it does make it very tricky to push through sometimes. Yeah, they are using quite a lot of OG images, aren't they, for the maps? Studzianki, don't particularly like that much. They just need to put a row of buildings up the middle for me, and it will make the map a lot better. I hate the fact that this medium fight can be shot at, I'm not going to say mediums, because you do get quite a lot of heavies going here, but I hate the fact that this fight here, when you push through into the dip, and then push up to the other side, like, pushing up to the other side once you've taken the dip is suicide, because as soon as you push up to these buildings, you just get shot completely hulled down by heavies. And you quite often get heavies that completely ignore the fact that they're having a heavy fight, or completely ignore each other, and they don't actually fight this. They just sit here and here and just shoot guys across here. And it's like, it's whoever has the best, these guys, who wins this. And yeah, again, a small redesign I think would be good. Like, put a row of buildings up the middle. It's just because you've got no chance of spotting them. And the way the rubble is, you've got no chance of shooting them, because you're usually shooting at 500 meters at completely hull down heavies. And it just doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it's just... It says, like, dead center of map is a small brick factory. No, it's not the dead center of the map. If it was dead center of the map, it would be here. It's more towards the north, but you've made the south accessible by the north. I don't like it. Tundra, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Tundra. The hill fight is sometimes interesting, and if you can get up and that. But I don't know why I'm not a huge fan of Tundra. I'm just not really. Westfield, quite like. I actually quite like Westfield quite a lot. You've got, obviously, the north fight for heavies. The mid-town is quite fun. Kind of like Studyanki, but I think the difference on Westfield compared to Studyanki, like, I know you can shoot across from the middle across to the mediums and stuff, but you've got positions that you can hide both south and middle, and, like... It's kind of, when you get spotted, you can at least shoot each other. It's not completely hull down for one side and not for other side. What are we doing? I'm currently saying what I think of all the maps in the game, because I keep getting asked this, and I'm probably going to make this into a highlight. If you're watching this on YouTube, hello, I actually did make it into a highlight, so that I can kind of just direct people that way. Wide Park, again, fun low tier map. Kind of imbalanced, like, you just have to run. It's the easiest scout medal in the game. You just run across the middle, you spot bloody everything. It's good fun. Winter maps are all shit, basically. For anyone who doesn't know, I hate all the winter maps, and if we got 4 bans, I would probably ban all 4 winter maps. Erlenberg, hate it. Like, it's basically, the divide is not down the middle of the map. I think it's better than it used to be, but the divide is not down the middle of the map, because on both sides you have this bit at the back, like the top right hand corner and the bottom left hand corner, that you win a flank and then you can't progress it because you have to cross 200 meters of open ground with tank destroyers in the way. Hey Steve, you have to cross 200 meters of open ground with tank destroyers shooting at you, and you just can't do it. The middle fight is better now, so it does make it easier. But what's annoying is sometimes, obviously, you get shot from heavies that have fallen back to either side and shoot across. But Erlenberg's probably the best of the evils, which is this. Mannerheim line sucks. Speaking of going across however many meters of open ground to progress, like, the south is completely useless. You have to take it because you have to take it. But as soon as you've taken it, you can't do anything with it from either side. Take it from the north, you've got so much open ground. You just sit a guy here, sit a guy here, sit a guy here, and you can't push across it. Take it from the south, you sit a guy here, you sit a guy here, you sit a guy here, maybe one here. You can't take it. It's all then in the north, and it depends who you get on your team in the north. And so it's Glacier, load of bollocks. The middle is completely like the most important part of the map, and at the same time the worst part of the map. In the middle, if an enemy manages to get up onto the aircraft carrier, you die. If the enemies manage to push too far around the south, you die. If you don't take the middle, you lose the game. And the Glacier is one of these maps as well that I hate, because even though, like, most of the map is playable, like, not a lot of it is impassable terrain, it's just, so much of it is impassable terrain, because so much of it is completely useless. Like, so much of the areas by the base are completely useless. So much of the middle of the map, like, there's a U-shape here that is just, you just don't play it. You drive past it, you drive to the middle, yeah. It's just crap. I hate it. It's an awful map. That's why I have it banned. Kharkov, old Kharkov, loved it. New Kharkov, hate it. New Kharkov with the line down the middle, they need to make it so that the line is passable and a bit more cover from the tank destroyer hills. But, yeah. I preferred old Kharkov. I think a lot more people prefer new Kharkov, but I preferred old Kharkov. I just thought it was a much better map. Airfield, meh. I don't mind it. I wouldn't say I hate it, but I wouldn't say I love it at the same time. Like, it's not that fun. Arty is a big issue, especially when you're playing heavy sides. This fight is just awful. TDs. It's the kind of map that you make one mistake and you've got 6 TDs at the back of the map that will shoot you. I don't particularly like it that much. Lights can do some bits on it. It's not a great medium tank map. I think that's one of the main things. Is I'm obviously very much a medium tank player, and it's very not I wouldn't say it's a medium tank map, because playing south sucks because you get shot by balconies and tank destroyers. Playing north, you can't really play north in a medium tank, and middle is just, a heavy fight. El Haloof, decent. I like the north fight. South fight can be quite fun, trying to progress up this hill here or progress up here. I don't mind it. Obviously, camping tank destroyers always an issue, but yeah, El Haloof isn't too bad. Ghost Town, obviously not the one in the image. I don't mind Ghost Town. It's actually pretty fun. Kind of has that issue of if you win a flank, you have to cross 200 meters of open ground in front of tank destroyers before you can actually push up to where they're sitting. But except for in the console version, this map is not used in random battles. You need to update the What Wiki. But yeah, Ghost Town's not too bad. I quite like the town fight as well. The town's half decent, so yeah, I don't mind Ghost Town. Sam River. It's pretty good. I had a good game on Sam River earlier in the 260. Actually, I quite like Sam River. Light tanks, pretty good. Medium tanks, pretty good. Heavy tanks, pretty good. Tank destroyers, pretty good. And even arty, it's pretty good. So, yeah. Grand battle maps, don't know, don't care. Frontline maps, not going to say it. Special, no. Where's the removed maps? Where is the removed maps? Here we go. Removed maps. Berlin. I mean, it's still in the game, so we've covered that. Dragon's Ridge. Like I said earlier, I haven't actually really played Dragon's Ridge enough to have an opinion on it. Yeah. I did play it a couple of games, but this was when I played like less than 1,000 games. So yeah, whatever. Fiery Salient, See Prohorovka above. Hidden Village, pre-change, not great. Post-change, actually pretty good. Quite liked it, not gonna lie to you. Like, the north fight was quite fun. The south fight even became quite fun. The only real issue with Hidden Village was the fact that so much of the map was unplayable because you had this huge mountain. Like, why not make like the mountain just scenery? Obviously it was removed before 1.0, but I'd like to think if they added it back, they could make the mountain scenery off the map, still make it look just as cool, and then like add more of the map, which would be quite nice. Comarin, oh god, I forgot this thing was in the game. This thing sucked. Like, the middle fight was, yeah, and then it was, no, it's just camping tank destroyers. You just had to throw enough shit at the wall and then hope that your team still had enough hit points when you'd broken through the 5th line of tank destroyers to actually get to the enemy base, and hope that they hadn't taken the other side, because then you had to go back and do it all again. Mitten Guard was a meme. I loved Mitten Guard, just sat at the back of the map with binos and just spot everything as it come down. It's tier 1 and 2 map. What do you want from me, people? Northwest, actually quite a fun map. I quite enjoyed Northwest. The mid fight was fun. The north was quite fun, even though it was imbalanced. The south, you could have some decent fights on it, kind of like all the different terraces. This is something that I said earlier, but obviously I'll say it again. I would honestly prefer them to add in more maps that had like a 60-40 bias when it comes to win rate. Like one side wins 60% of the time. I don't care. If you make the map interesting, I really don't care. It's when you're on the side that has the bias, you know you should win. Winning is good. When you're on the tank that doesn't, when you're on the side that doesn't have the bias, it's a challenge. You should be able to do more damage, stuff like this, stuff like that. Like, you know, try and win. As long as it's not literally 90% of the teams from this side win and 10% is from the other side. As long as it's only a slight imbalance, it really doesn't bloody matter. Just add in some non-symmetrical maps again. It would be fun. Yeah, I really, really, really wouldn't mind it. For example, Port. Although I have heard rumours that this might be coming back into the game at some point. I can't really remember. I liked Port, although I can't really remember enough about it to give you guys like where was fun on it and not. They could just touch up the old maps. Yeah, I don't know. Just put them in the map rotation, but really limit where they're at. Ruinberg on fire. See Ruinberg above. I mean, obviously it's been changed now, but yeah, I did kind of like where they were going with like the Winter Himmelsdorf, Ruinberg on fire, and Fiery Salient, which was like the Prohorovka on fire. I did kind of like it, like all of the different skins from, but obviously I know it had a massive effect on some people's PCs. Sacred Valley, I did really like this map. Like, the south fight was fun, the north fight, the heavy fight was fun. You could have some fun in the middle here as well. It was a good map. I really liked it. I'm annoyed that they removed it in 1.0. It was one of my more favourite maps. Severogorsk, Sturm Tiger in the barn. That's all we have to remember about Severogorsk. No, this map, again, I actually quite enjoyed it. Quite a fun map. You had the trench down the middle. Then obviously you had the two side fights. It was quite a good map. South Coast, cool. We're going back a bit now. I did really like South Coast. Yeah, Sacred Valley was really good. I did really like South Coast. Like, the beach was, again, really weird. Like, you had IS-7s trying to snipe each other's non-existent compolers from 300 meters. But the east fight was really fun. And, like, you had these fights down these areas. You could get into the town. Oh, yeah, it was quite a fun map, if I remember rightly. Stalingrad, it wasn't my favourite map, but I didn't mind it. It was quite fun at times. I usually went to this mid area. The heavy fight wasn't too bad. Again, out of all the maps in the game for them to remove, I don't like that. There are worse ones that they could have removed, or they could have just not added some in. Swamp, I actually quite liked it. I'm not going to lie to you, after they changed it, I really quite liked this map. The fight up here was quite fun. Like, yeah. You played, like, these inside areas here. Yes, you had the camping tank destroyers. I quite liked it. I'm not going to lie to you. Again, worse maps could have been removed in 1.0. Again, Winterberg. Probably, like, I said this earlier on stream. Out of all the winter maps, we've got 4 in the game at the minute. Can we just replace them, please, with these 3? Sacred Valley, Severogorsk, and Windstorm. Like, can we just swap those 4 out and put these 3 in, and I'd be a hell of a lot happier. Really fun map. Like, no idea why they removed it. Absolutely no idea why they removed it. They just removed it in 1.0. They didn't really give a reason for it, I don't think, other than we haven't made it really super high definition. Obviously, I know it had a lot of issues with, like, people doing really weird climbs on it when climbing was a thing. But obviously that would have been removed, so yeah, I don't really know what went on with that, but I really quite liked Windstorm. Winterberg, see Ruinberg above, and Himmelsdorf. Winter Himmelsdorf, see Himmelsdorf above. Yeah, that's my opinion on all of the maps in the game, guys, and just a little overview of what I think of each of them. That was probably, oh crap, again, if I do turn this into a highlight, there's probably like a half an hour thing, but I do get asked it quite a lot, so it would be nice just to point people towards the video now. But yeah, there are a lot of good maps, but a lot of the good maps are the old maps. Like some more of the original ones. I said this earlier. It's like Prohorovka, Murovanka, Himmelsdorf. The better maps. And things like, I preferred Pearl River the way it was beforehand. I preferred... what was the other one I said I preferred massively before they knobbed about with it? Kharkov. things like that. And I preferred, like, when you look at all of the removed maps, I'm like, Berlin, I mean, isn't removed. Dragon's Ridge, I've heard a lot of good things about Dragon's Ridge, so yes, put it back in. Hidden Village, quite liked. Comorin is probably one of the only ones I'd actually give a miss. Northwest, good. Port, good. Sacred Valley, loved it. Severagor's good. South Coast, good. Stalingrad, but still add it in. Move right in it. Swamp, good. Windstorm, loved it. Like, why have they removed so many of the good maps and added in, I'm sorry, but so many disappointing maps recently? Minsk is an absolute dumpster fire. Paris is just not that good. Pearl River, I wanted to love it so much when it got added back in, but I just don't as much as I used to. But I don't know if I'm just looking at it with rose-tinted spectacles. I don't know. Studyanki, it's not that great. Like, what happened? Ugh. Anyway, right. Hopefully that was a fun YouTube video. I'm gonna do my standard YouTube video sign out, even though I'm streaming right now, because if I do make it into a video, if I don't, then So yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Come watch me streaming so you can see me have rants like this live. Give the video a like, turn notifications on, and come watch me stream. Have fun.